Hi, everybody. Happy to have you join us for our next conversation in our Aspire series for health science occupations. My name is Danny Rubin, founder of Rubin, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Brandi Pardue, a medical assistant in Georgia. And Brandi, we thank you for taking time out of your busy day to talk to us about your job. So we appreciate that. Let's first start by telling us where it is you work, what type of medical setting are you in, and tell us a bit about the job that you do every day.
So I work for a family practice here in Evans, Georgia. It's called Center for Primary Care. We have five family practitioners in our one office, and I work for Dr. Livingston. Um, I am his main MA, so I do a lot of paperwork. I do a lot of running, and I also help with patients and see patients. So I get the best of both worlds, I feel like.
So when you say running,
Oh
what
yeah.
does that mean?
So if we have any medicines that he prescribes that say right now diabetic medicine is a huge market, and they've come out with so many new ones, but not all of the Medicare plans or even commercial insurances are on board with them. They will require prior authorization. So I'm trying to get chart notes together. I am getting any kind of labs, anything that I can do to help the patient get on this medication. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of prescription refills for the doctor. Um, I still do patients in between all of this. And I also we have walk-in labs here. So I draw blood, I give injections, I do just about everything.
Oh my goodness, you sound like you're doing the job of 10 people.
I feel like it sometimes, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like, when you're a medical assistant, a lot of different jobs and skills can fall under that title. And maybe in your case, you're in a smaller setting, you're not in a hospital, you're in a, private practice with five doctors, so you find yourself doing a lot of everything. So are you like when I go see the doctor and the a medical assistant or a nurse comes in first, takes my blood pressure, just checks my chart, all that. Is that something that you're doing?
So there's we do so yeah, we get the patient's vitals, we reconcile their medicine, so we just go through and say, are you still taking this? Just to make sure that we have an up-to-date list. We get a list of any other doctors they may see on a regular basis so that we can um, send chart notes back and forth with them. I get their vitals, I get their reason they're here, and then I get their blood usually, and then the doctor will come in, do his thing, and then sometimes I'll have to go back and give an injection if they're due for a vaccine or anything else. And then sometimes help them with paperwork. They may bring paperwork in that they need us to put in their chart, so I do that too. I do administrative and clinical.
Wow. And I always when I go to the doctor, whether it's primary or specialty, it seems like sometimes that nurse or medical assistant or whoever comes in first and they seem like they're just in a huge hurry.
Yeah.
They're just like checking your date of birth, any new allergies, this. Okay, doctor, see you soon. And they like fly out of there. So do you have to practice like moving fast, but also not making it seem like you're too busy for someone?
Yes, because my doctor, when I will say one thing I love about this practice is the doctors take just as much time with you and whatever issues that you're having as he would with somebody, say, 30 years your senior. Like if you feel like you have things going on that you need to discuss, or he's going to spend that same amount of time. He's going to show you the same respect. Um, Sometimes I do have to kind of slowly make my way toward the door because the older patients like to talk.
They want to just chit chat. I
And
understand.
I get it. Some of them are lonely and they don't have anybody to talk to. So I try to let them know that I'm here and make them feel, you know, like they're just as important as anybody else. So yeah, I've had to learn to know when to cut them off from talking,
Yeah.
being
Uh,
rude.
so we asked Brandy to remove her headphones. It was making a little bit of feedback. So now in the conversation, you see her without headphones, but that's because we want the best possible experience for the students, for you out there to listen to this conversation. So what we talk about a lot in our company is the power of employability skills and learning how to, the soft skills, the people skills. So you're not only having to know all kinds of medical information and blood draws and administrative and insurance, but you also have to know how to talk to people, treat
Right,
patients, and treat them like, with respect and also treat them medically.
right.
So do you find your brain like switching back and forth all day between medical knowledge and customer service?
So fortunately, I've been in some form of customer service since I was 14.
Hmm.
So I have learned over the years, you can't please everybody, but if you show them respect, regardless if they're being snippy, because you're going to have those patients. You're going to have patients where you feel like you can't do anything right by them. Um, but I have learned real quickly that if you just show them even the smallest little bit of compassion and make them feel like you understand how frustrating it is, and they will switch their tune. And
Hmm.
I have patients that won't talk to anybody but me if they feel like they're having an issue, and sometimes that gets a little overwhelming for me. However, it makes me feel good that knowing that I made them feel important enough, and I guess I don't want to say loved enough, but cared for enough that they feel safer with coming to me with anything.
Well, I think that does say a lot if they say, I only want to talk to her.
Oh yeah,
You know,
and there,
that's powerful.
yeah, and I did so I did hair for 22 years, so I'm
Hmm.
used to having to, in a sense, make somebody feel better about themselves or better about whatever's going on. I feel like as a not only in this profession but in that profession as well, you kind of become almost a therapist, so to speak. Especially if somebody doesn't have family, and not everybody has somebody to fall back on, so they rely on us and their doctor, their primary care doctors, nurses, or MAs to help them maneuver if they need help with Medicare or who to contact for medicines or help with medicines. And we do all of that. So it's not
Wow.
just yeah. There's a lot into it, but knowing that I've made a difference makes it worth all the headache, so to speak. I mean,
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy my job.
What kind of training did you need to become a medical assistant?
So when COVID came about, I was in the hair salon and we were put out of work. And I knew then
Wow.
that I told my husband, I said, I think I'm going to try to go back to school. And he was like, okay. And so I went to the school, and I originally thought about doing nursing, but then when I started talking to my medical director, or the program director at Augusta Tech, she her enthusiasm for the field, you can you can feel that energy and how much she loves it and she enjoys it. And so I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to do that. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel like I have a more personable relationship with my patients as opposed to being a nurse in a hospital. You see them for 2 or 3 days, maybe, you know, and then you don't see them again. So I like
Right.
having a relationship.
That is a big difference. These are people you see regularly, not just for an operation or whatever, then they're gone.
Right.
So how much training did you have to do? What was the
I did.
coursework?
It's a little. right a little more than a year. So I started in January of 2020, 2020, and I no 2021, and I finished graduated in May of 2022.
Okay.
But the last
And
like that last 6 weeks, I was literally just in doing externship. So
okay.
you get hands-on experience with patients, which I loved.
Was it an expensive program? Did you get like reimbursed some by working or loans paid off or how does it work?
This company that I work for, they will do a tuition reimbursement. If if needed, they will help you get certified. Um, the Luckily for me, even though I had been out of high school for many years, we won't say how many, but I qualified for different grants, and then the medical assisting program had scholarships lined up that you could get. So there was I didn't have to pay for any of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so as a matter of fact, it made it so much. I did. That's one thing I did not stress about. So I was able to focus on my studies. So
So you found enough grants
mhm,
and so you don't even need the tuition reimbursement.
mhm.
It was available if you had to pay,
Yep,
but you didn't even need that because you found enough grants.
yep,
Wow. Okay. So it was a free education
yes,
essentially for you.
yes.
And then and was it hard to find a job or where you play? Is this where you did your externship?
This is one of the places. So in Georgia, you're required to do a specialty um, externship and a family practice. Um, you do 3 weeks in each, and then the last 2 weeks, typically, if you're offered a job, then you could just stay, or go back or however. In my case, I was offered a job at both places that I did my externship at. So, but I chose this company due to um, I love the doctor that he's very knowledgeable. He's been such a blessing to work for, and this whole office is just you feel like family. Everybody
Hmm.
helps everybody. Um, the management is amazing, and that all of the doctors have been together in this practice. Some of them for 20 something years. So it just you can tell. Like I could definitely tell between this office and the first one I worked at or did
Wow.
my internship.
What's
So,
your schedule?
so I work Monday through Friday. However, I do 7:45 to 5 Monday through Wednesday. Thursdays I work 7:45 to 8 p.m.
Whoa.
But I work at 12 on Fridays. so,
Okay.
so it
So I
works.
guess it all balances out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
So
long day on Thursday though.
it is, and I'm by myself, so I don't have. So we most of the doctors have two MAs. One does paperwork or desk work, and then one sees patients or pulls patients back. The one that's with me, she works part time because she's been with him 10 years now, so she's earned that right to just work part time. But she's here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is great because I'm able to do any refills, prior authorization, get any um, surgery clearance, anything like that. I can get them done in those 3 days and still be able to help her. And then Thursdays, it's just me and him. And so I do all the vitals with the prescriptions. But Friday mornings is my day to catch up with Thursdays.
So on the on Thursdays when it's just the two of you,
Mm-hmm.
are you like um just with him all day? Are you doing your own things sometimes and he's doing things sometimes, or are you just
So
kind of
if I have all 3 rooms um, filled up, and he's in with the patient, then while he's occupied and I've got the rooms filled, then I can concentrate on any refills that have come in that I can send out, or I can kind of catch up on anything that I need to scan into the patient's chart, anything like that. If we have a little break, he helps me out sometimes too, if he sees it as getting, a little overwhelming, he'll hop on and help. And some doctors don't do that; they just expect you. So that's another reason
Yeah,
why
that's nice.
he's
Are
on
you is your practice always open until that late in the evening every day?
Monday through Thursday. We are. So
Wow.
every doctor in the practice stays late at least one day.
I see. So that's his day to stay late. So you stay late too because you're working together.
Yep. So we take patients from 8 in the morning till 6:30. We see our last patient, um, and then if we do labs on that last patient, then I'll run the labs because we have our own lab in the office. So I'll run that or get it together to send out. But yeah, we sometimes I've been here till 9 o'clock.
What kind of breaks do you get in a day that long?
So I get an hour lunch every day from 12 to 1. And then on my long day, we usually schedule about a 30-minute break in the afternoon, um, just for him and I both to kind of take a breather.
Catch
And
your breath.
yeah, so
Wow. But then you get like basically your weekends. But the Friday morning must go by like that, and then you get your
morning,
weekend.
yes. And then if I take my time off, I don't have to use a whole day. I only use 4 hours. So
Oh, that's good. So you can have
yeah.
lots of. You could even do like a Monday into like a Monday afternoon or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, and if
Ha-
there's a holiday on Monday, that's even better for me because then I
Of
get a break.
course. How would you say so you were a hairdresser
I
or
was
hairstylist. How would you say the compensation? You don't need to be specific, but the compensation for this job compared to cutting hair.
so one thing, and essentially I make just as much, if not more, in the grand scheme of things, because as a hairstylist, 9 times out of 10 you're self-employed, which if you're self-employed and single, that means you pay for your own insurance, which
That's
is
right.
when those is not cheap.
Right.
With this company, they pay for probably 85% of my premium.
Mm,
Um, the little bit that I do pay for, is mainly for dental and vision, which is hardly anything. And the fact that we have our own, so it's one company, but there's 8 different offices, and each office has 5 to 10 doctors in it. And we have our own imaging center. So I don't pay for any labs. I don't have to pay for any imaging. I don't have to pay to see a doctor. So it kind of
yeah,
compensates.
yeah, I understand. In the grand scheme,
Yeah.
it's a better deal.
Oh yeah. And
Um,
I mean, my husband comes to this practice. He sees the doctor I work for. He has his own insurance through his own job, but they don't, because he's married to me. They don't charge him a copay.
that's
So
nice.
yeah. So it's like, oh
You save a lot of money over a year
yeah, because this.
with health insurance premiums and appointments and this, that, and the other. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, that there are some perks there.
Yeah.
To start to wrap up, this has been great information. What would you say to students? Like, give some words of wisdom why students should explore medical assisting as a career if they're just looking around at, what's available. Why go down your path?
So when I first graduated high school, I originally wanted to do nursing. Um, I went and got all my core classes. I went to the orientation for the nursing program at the school I was going to go to. Called my mom crying. I was like, I can't do it. She's like, why? I was like, I get attached to people too easy. One, two, I don't think it's going to be fast enough for me because I like to stay busy. And she was like, oh Lord. So don't ask me how I went into hair. I ended up in hair. It just fell in my lap. I made a great career out of it. When I started here at this job, I immediately knew that this is where I was meant to be.
Hmm.
It fulfills it fulfills the busy side of me. I mean, I'm never just sitting, which you get here at 8, and next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock. I like that. Um, I if you like in general, like you have that adrenaline rush, then you can still get it in a family practice or in an inmate. They have inmates at hospitals. They're starting to require more people in doctors' offices instead of nurses. They want the MAs. We can do everything a nurse can do except start an IV or push certain drugs through an
Got
IV.
it.
Now, granted, we can in Georgia if our physician shows us or we have somebody that supervises while we do it. We can do an IV here, and there are some patients that we have to give fluids, um, but we have to be trained how to do it, and it's just simple fluids. But I mean, other than having to work all night long at a hospital, can do the same thing a nurse can do.
Yeah. Sound like you made a
And not have
great career switch. Maybe I don't want to say COVID was a blessing, but it put you in a new direction.
and it was, and I still feel like I'm helping somebody. I
Yeah,
still feel like um,
absolutely.
I'm part of a close knit group, and we have in Georgia we have our own like medical
Mm-hmm.
society, and then each county has their own.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly involved with other MAs. As a matter of fact, in April we have the Georgia State Conference here. It's being held here in Augusta, so I was asked to be a delegate for that. So I'm super excited. Um,
Wow. It's like a whole new world for
yeah,
you.
like, but it's exciting. I mean, you're constantly learning, and
Yeah.
that's one thing I love to do here. I've learned a lot just being able to work with my doctor.
Yeah.
Um, I've learned from other women here, and it's. I told my husband, I was like, I think I did the right thing. He was like, well, I'm glad. But
I
I mean,
understand.
sometimes it's hard for me to turn off at night, so I have to mentally make myself kind of wind down because I'll have stuff going through I'll replay
Sure.
it and I'm like, oh, I can't forget to do that tomorrow.
Sure.
But at the same time, I love, I look forward to coming to work every day.
Well,
And
I think that's a great sentiment, a great way to end our discussion. Thank you for your time. I know you've got probably a million things swimming in your head that you got to do once you hop out of this chair. So we appreciate it. This will help a lot of students understand truly what the job is.
good.
So thank you, Brandi, for your insights, and we wish you the best of luck on your new journey
Thank you.
in the world of MA
Yes.
in Georgia. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate it.